Good afternoon, dear teachers, educators across Europe. Welcome in the Pan-European Conference on Digital Education. Today is the 60th session. My name is Blanca Tatzer. I will be the moderator of today's event. Let's see what's ahead of us. As always, you can find all 5 presentations on the Facebook group Pan-European Conference. You can check them, download them, and learn all the new information. I am happy to say that the special focus of the conference today is design thinking, best practice. And that's because we can be thankful to Erasmus Plus project up to NEP for the whole conference today. We will have 5 presentations from 5 project partners that worked on different fields of design on different fields, and for their topics they use design thinking methodology. Design thinking methodology we introduced a few times already in the Pan-European Conference, but never in such a holistic way that we will do today. So I'm really happy about that. We will also hear a little bit about the project for a start. Let's see what are the presentation. The first one is Literary Challenge for Adult Students, now in its 4th edition. Maria Daniela will present that. Then we will move to Turkey, and Zeynep will present The Future is Designed, How Creativity Shapes Tomorrow. And Daniela will follow Design Thinking for Sustainability, Engaging Communities with Bio-Based Materials, and then Protecting the Heritage of Recent Interiors. Bob will have this focus. And as a last presentation will be done by Milena Ignjatova, Creating Safer School Environments with a Design Thinking Approach. So you can see that the focuses of all 5 presentations are very different. We will also ask for your opinion because we would like ask you what if you already use design thinking in your teaching practice, but not just that, because design thinking can be actually done in a very different ways. We would like to hear from you. How do you use design thinking? People use, design thinking is one methodology, but people use this methodology, I believe, in 1,000 different ways. So if you use a design thinking methodology, we will be grateful for your answers on Mentimeter on how do you use that. This is the Mentimeter code. Those who would like to tell us how do you use it, please scan. And I will also put the link in the chat. And now I would like to ask Desiree. Just a second. Where is Desiree? Yes. Welcome, Desiree.
Thank you.
I would like to ask you if you can tell us the essence of Up to NEP project.
Yes, of course. First of all, thank you for organizing this conference and for all the participants. I am Desiree Scalia, I'm Italian, and I am the project manager for Up2Neb project. Up2Neb project is a project which aims to upskills youth workers and educator, and at the same time to provide them some tools and methodologies and content for them to empower young people in the framework of the new European Bauhaus. The new European Bauhaus is a policy strategy shaped by the European Commission and aims at involving all actors, that means citizens, students, young people, educators, architect, designers, so all the people belonging to our society, for them to transform common spaces, so spaces in which we live. And it is based on three pillars. First one is sustainability, so spaces should be sustainable. Second one is inclusion, so spaces should be inclusive. And the third one is aesthetic, so spaces should be beautiful. And in the framework of this project, we have launched a call for collecting best practices to design our new methodology. So basically, we have collected some good practices, and among them, there are the speaker of today's conference. And they have submitted best practices, as Blanca explained, based on design thinking applied to these three pillars, so sustainability, aesthetic, and inclusion. And of course, we will be open to receive some more good practice from you as teacher and educator, as Blanca suggested through the Mentimeter. That's all on my
Yes.
side.
Thank you, Desiree. Those three pillars are actually a very good foundation for children and students to give them the opportunity to explore those topics with the help of design thinking methodology. All right, so great. Thank you very much. Let's go to the first presentation. Okay, and hello, Maria Daniela. This will be today the first time in the Pan-European Conference that we will have a presentation in Italian language, and Irene from CHAPE will translate this to English. So welcome, benvenuti, Maria Daniela. For the start, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself in 1, 2 sentences?
Allora, la condivisione delle slide pare che non vada. Allora, io sono Maria Daniela Sfarra, docente di un istituto di Pescara in Italia, l'Istituto Aterno-Manthoné, di un corso serale.
She's Professor Daniela Sfarra from the Aterno-Manthoné Institute in Pescara, Abruzzo region in Italy, and it's an evening course, so it's aimed at involving adult learners in education.
Il mio progetto è una sfida letteraria per studenti adulti alla sua quarta edizione.
The project that Maria Daniela Sfarra is presenting, Vince chi legge, is a literary challenge conceived and coordinated by Professor Daniela Sfarra during the last 4 years.
Thank you very much. And yeah, in the meanwhile, I will just invite participants to ask questions as well. type your questions in the chat, and later I will ask Maria Daniela to provide her answers after the presentation. For the attendance at this conference, you can also get certificate of attendance. The link is in the video description. All right, now we are ready.
Ok, puoi procedere, Daniela.
Allora, la sfida letteraria Vince chi legge è stata da me ideata e coordinata per 4 anni consecutivi.
Yeah, the Vince chi legge practice represents a design thinking approach which is aimed in general to increase inclusivity and in particular to make teaching and learning processes enjoyable for adults in the evening courses at Istituto Aterno-Manthoné in Pescara, and it has been conceived and coordinated by Professor Maria Daniela Sfarra during the last 4 consecutive years.
Inaugurata durante la pandemia da Covid-19, la prima edizione si è svolta online.
It has been launched during the COVID-19 pandemic, and this is why the first edition took place online.
Le altre edizioni sono state realizzate a scuola, in un centro commerciale e in un teatro.
The following editions were held at school, in a shopping center and at a theater.
L'ultima edizione del febbraio scorso è stato un successo superiore alle edizioni precedenti.
And the last edition, held in February, was a greater success than the previous editions.
Ha coinvolto 3 scuole abruzzesi, il corso serale dell'Istituto Aterno-Manthoné di Pescara, i centri per l'istruzione degli adulti di Pescara Chieti e di Teramo.
And it involved 3 schools in Abruzzo region, the evening course at Aterno-Manthoné Institute in Pescara, as well as adult education centers of Pescara Chieti and Teramo, 2 provinces in Abruzzo region.
Io ho presentato come docente e ambasciatrice Erasmus Plus le opportunità territoriali ed europee per l'educazione degli adulti, con il sito dedicato e la piattaforma Epale.
Maria Daniela Sfarra is also an Erasmus Plus ambassador, and as such, she presented the territorial and European opportunities for adult education under the Erasmus Plus program within the dedicated website and the Epale platform.
Erano presenti circa 130 partecipanti, tra cui docenti e studenti, rappresentanti di associazioni culturali, una delegazione turca per lo svolgimento di un job shadowing Erasmus Plus sulle scuole per gli adulti.
The last edition has been attended by 130 participants, including teachers, students, representatives of cultural associations, and a Turkish delegation being there for a job shadowing under Erasmus Plus, again, on schools for adults.
I partecipanti si sono riuniti in gruppi da 5 e ogni gruppo ha prodotto un commento scritto sul romanzo Una vita non basta di Enrico Galiano.
The participants gathered into groups of 5, and each group produced a written commentary on the novel Una vita non basta by Enrico Galiano.
Un testo rivolto a giovani adulti sul senso della scuola come tramite per cercare se stessi.
This book is aimed at young people and adults about school as a means to increase self-awareness and stimulate self-development.
Gli elaborati prodotti da ogni gruppo sono stati pubblicati sulle pagine Facebook e Instagram Serale Aterno-Manthoné e dalla somma dei like ottenuti il gruppo vincitore è stato premiato con dei buoni per gli aperitivi cenati.
The works by each group were published on the Facebook and Instagram pages of Serale Aterno-Manthoné Institute, and based on the likes received, the winning group was awarded vouchers for aperitif.
Emerse nuove prospettive di contatti per future collaborazioni e progetti condivisi.
This opportunity led to new prospects for contacts, networking, peer learning towards future collaboration and shared projects.
Ok, grazie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Such a big event. with 130 participants.
Yes, yes. It's
wow,
a great success.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much for this presentation. I'm looking if there are any questions, but at the moment there are not. I will say thank you, and we will move to another presentation. Before that, I would like to show you the mentimeter through which we collect the practices. Your ideas about the design thinking. So far, we have 12 answers. So the focus is how to simplify design thinking. And here we have, I understand design thinking as creativity, innovation, empathy, creation, problem solving, freedom of expression, and user involvement, for instance. Then, how confident do you feel in implementing design thinking elements into your teaching practice? So it's still not so very well known methodology, despite the fact that many teachers use it, but not in all countries and in all level of education. So I hope that today's presentation will also inspire you to try this methodology of experimenting and developing new ideas. The next question is how relevant is each step in design thinking for the learning processes in school? And you are saying that user research, so understand the community context is the most important, but also defining a problem. So those two things are the most important and usually also the most difficult, I would say, because if we only have to brainstorm and prototype something, we have a feeling that we are doing something, but when we have to define a problem, that is usually the most abstract way of thinking. And the last question is, do you use a design thinking in a different way? Here is one answer. I use prototyping session as an icebreaker activity. Yes, great. Or to solve personal problems by testing new ideas about daily life. That is also one way of using design thinking. Then it will make our teaching more creative and resonate with contemporary needs. Yeah, okay, that is also one. Please let submit us some more ideas so that we can actually maybe work with them within the project up to NEP. Okay, so I will stop sharing now. I hope, hopefully, yes. And I will invite to the stage the next presenter, Zeynep. Okay, here you are. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I hope you can hear me. Okay. First of
yes.
all,
First, we would like to hear a little bit about you. If you can tell us what is your focus. Yeah.
I'm an architect and I recently completed my master's degree in architecture. I'm also an assistant at Chankaya University. Apart from that, I am co-founder and creative director of Axe Creative Hub, and I can show my presentation.
Great, thank you. Where do you have it? Just a second, I have to see it. Yes, it's here.
Okay,
so
I hope
how
you can see my
creativity
screen.
shapes tomorrow. Yeah, it's on the screen.
Perfect. Today I will present you about our organization, what we are doing, our project, one of our projects. And my title of my presentation is "The Future is Design: How Creativity Shapes Tomorrow." So first of all, before start, I want to tell about AX and my organization. AX is an association and a strategic design studio working in the field of creative industries. We are focusing design, architecture, planning, and also we are developing sustainable solutions, strategies, and projects. We are using design thinking methodologies, gamification methods, and some kind of research. Also, we are an official member of European Creative Ops Network, and we are an official partner of New European Bauhaus community. And I want to show you our executive team because I am an architect. My colleague Cemre is an art historian. My other colleague Naz, urban planner. Dilara is an also architect, and Aylin is interior designer. So we have a team consists of different backgrounds of design. So design thinking is actually essential for our project and what we are doing, because we had design backgrounds and we had education on design. So in each project, we are using that methodology. And we have 6 different type of branch in Ankara AX. And this is actually, today I will show a project coming from New European Bauhaus branch, but we also have urban vision, design, community, and academy. Thanks to our multidisciplinary team, we can create some kind of project with the community that we work, and we are using design thinking methodologies. So these are some examples of the project that we already made. We actually design a space in Ankara. It's a public space, and we also create a placemaking project. We create an event, gamification event, and we work with the urban planners, designers, and game artists. So we have different type of architectural projects. We have exhibition projects. So we have different type of projects. But today, before telling about our project, I want to mention creativity and design thinking, because creativity is very essential what we do. I want to show some definitions about creativity. So creativity is actually finding a solution to the problems. But we have 2 different type of problems. One is the everyday problem. For instance, while you are walking on a street, you saw something and you react that what bus do you use every day? This is actually creativity, and you find a solution to problem. But then we have different type of problems, and that problems needs using different type of paths in our brain. So we call it executive mode network. You start thinking every day. You are thinking automatically, but in that part, when you solve different problem, you start think about different part of your brain. And this is very essential because design thinking and design comes from how our brain works. Firstly, we sense something. For instance, we saw a dog. First of all, we sense it with our 5 senses. Then we pay attention what we saw. Then it's called perception. We call some previous information and we try to understand what we saw. Then we start a thought. In that we are connecting some other examples that we saw. Then we take an action. And this is actually how our brain works. So actually, this is very similar to design thinking. For us, you may know there are 5 steps of design thinking, but in here I put 4 because we are using in that way. First of all, you empathize. It's very similar to sensing something. You feel the problem, you feel something. And this is very related with human-centered design idea. Then you define the problem, you define the thing that you work on. So this is very essential. Then you start ideate what could be an answer of that problem, what can we do, and this is some kind of brainstorming part. Then the final part, prototyping and testing. When you define a very good problem, you can find an answer very easily. So this is very important. Then you can create some kind of prototypes. In architecture or in our works that we do, we create some models, some sketches, and we are testing it. So we are using these 4 steps in our project, and today I will show one of our projects we organized in Ankara, then we organized in Brussels, which called Young Spirit of Renewal. So in 2021, as Desiree mentioned, New European Bauhaus launched by European Commission. And I really want to show this project for this presentation because Bauhaus is the key of creativity and design thinking. And the things that we use today, workshops, design methodologies, it is actually coming from Bauhaus. So New European Bauhaus is actually puts very valuable information from the original Bauhaus and add some sustainability perspective to this initiative. So in our project, actually, we came together and first of all, we start thinking about today. We start think about what we feel about today, because when we saw the New European Bauhaus, first of all, we want to feel and understand and empathize the topic. Then we had the past part in our event. That was a 5-day event. And first of all, at the past part, we tried to feel the roots of Bauhaus, because in that time there was a paradigmal change as today, and there were some crises, there were some wars, there were some economical problems, new materials came that time. So a group of designers came together and they wrote a manifesto about how their future should be. And actually this is the essence of our modern cities today. And they designed something, they wrote a manifesto, Bauhaus manifesto, and it shapes how we live, how we think, how we do, and it shapes our cities. So we really want to understand that, because today we also have the same problem, same paradigmal change, but we don't want to go with the flow. We want to become pioneers, and we want to say something about our future. So that event, more than 120 designers came together in Ankara and in different parts of Turkey, and we empathize and we define the problem. And today part, we try to ideate with some brainstorms what was the what could be the solution. And at the future part, there were some kind of workshops, discussions, talks, yoga, and that different type of activities. And we wrote a manifesto, which we called Renewal Manifesto. And we want to show that manifesto with an exhibition. We can say that was a prototyping. And we organized an exhibition, and we show our manifesto to the decision makers. Then this manifesto, we want to test this manifesto. We were invited to the World Mediterranean Forum in 2022, and I was the official representative of Turkey, and I share our manifesto, and they gave some feedback to our manifesto, Then we attend New European Bauhaus Festival in Brussels in 2022, and we organized a side event to test our manifesto. And we asked, what do you think about our manifesto? Then that was a perfect example for us to show, and it shows how future could be and what the future of designers can shape their future. Then in 2023, we had an earthquake, you may know that, and that time we start thinking about future and today, because there were a lot of needs to new buildings, new way of living, and we ask ourselves that questions. We empathize, and we decided to organize an event with collaboration with the EU delegation to Turkey. That was a 4-day event, and we want to show our manifesto, and we want to build our manifesto, but that was very hard, because in our manifesto we are saying, we call it, we are saying the most sustainable building is not built, and we had we used the same methodology with the previous events. We had some workshops, talks, and we used that design thinking methodology. But apart from that prototyping part, instead of writing manifesto and doing something different, we want to build our manifesto, and we designed collaborative recycling pavilion, and we call it Once Way. And we think and start to empathize about waste material and how sustainability, because there was a lot of needs to new buildings and new things, and we think sustainability should be key. And we ask some questions, we try to understand, and we ask, what was once waste can actually turn into production. So we use design thinking methodology, and we create something new, something different with building with not building. So it's kind of unbuilt project, and we really wanted to use some waste materials, and we use that steps to create this pavilion, and that was city scale puzzle actually. We prototype it, we try it, and this is very important for us. Design thinking step is not very concrete. First of all, we empathize, we ideate, and we define, but then we came back and we ask some new questions and think about new things again. So this project is not like the algorithmic process. We always came back and go further. So that was that kind of project, and we built that pavilion with recycled materials. In that event, there were 19 different cities coming from Turkey, and we had more than 200 young designers and young artists and other backgrounds. So that was an event, and this is what we designed. And this project exhibited in the New European Bauhaus Festival in 2024. We were in the fair. So today I wanted to show you this project and what we do with design thinking methodology.
Thank you very much. Very inspiring. How no, can you please put the presentation a little bit back on, because I would like to ask you something. How old are the young people that were involved in the festival?
They were actually 18 to 25. They were university students. By the way, I am 26 years old. So we worked with young designers for that project. Actually, our team consists of young designers.
Okay. And did they? Can you show us those 9 steps for greener? Did they do all those 9 steps, or was the material already prepared? No?
Yes, actually, I don't want to go into details because it was
Yeah.
the main topic, but
Yeah.
we used 9 steps and we discovered that 9 steps with design thinking methodology, because first of all, we called, we had an open call to people, and we said you should bring your waste, because it's important to understand consumption and production relationship. Then some places in Ankara which collecting the garbage and waste material.
Yeah.
Then we collect them and we separate them. We in that project we use plastic, high density polyethylene plastic, and we separate all of them by color, and we clean them not by water, just our hands, because we didn't want to use anything not sustainable. So we buy and find these 2 ovens. They are second hand. We didn't buy anything for that project. They were second hand.
Wow.
And they were very usual kitchen oven, by the way. And we melt plastic. Then we create mold. This is very amateur and student project, because we try everything just by ourselves.
That's exactly
then
the
we cut
reason.
plastic.
Yeah.
Then we use some waste wood material to use that structure, and this is some kind, as I mentioned, this is this scale puzzle. We connect parts, and this has aggregated growth, and you can design your pavilion what you want. So this is a type of project what we do.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason why I was asking you this question, because I don't know, do you think that this process can be used also for younger students, for instance, from 15 to 19, under the guidance of teachers? Because yes, that's what I saw, that you used actually everyday material. So, in exploring things, in creating things, and learning about sustainability, maybe that could also be a way of, doing.
Definitely, they can use because the size of the puzzle can change. We made
Yes, exactly.
city
Just
scale,
littles, right?
like,
Yeah.
but there could be little ones.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I hope that some teachers will decide that actually, to go to organize such a festival. It's a wonderful idea. Yeah. Thank you very much, Zeynep,
You're welcome.
for yeah, and congratulations for the festival. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and now we move from Turkey to the Netherlands. Hello, Bob. Welcome once again.
Actually, Daniela was
So,
the first.
yes, you are right. I am very, very sorry. Yeah, yes, you are right. So, Daniela, my apologies. And the floor is yours on the presentation Design Thinking for Sustainability. So, how to engage community with bio-based materials.
Yes. Okay, I share the screen. One moment.
Yeah,
Okay.
we will wait for a minute. And the Mentimeter is still open. So welcome to share
Okay.
your ideas about design thinking. We will check the results once again in the end. And yeah, Daniela.
Perfect. Okay, hello everyone. First of all, I'm Daniela Amandolese. I'm a product designer and researcher, and I teach at various universities in Italy and abroad. And for many years, I've been collaborate with Materially. and today try to explain this experience, the design thinking for sustainability, engaging communities with the bio-based materials. So first of all, Materiali is an independent Italian small company that helps the other companies in the development of sustainable innovations, starting from materials, through different activities like research, European project, of course, scouting of material solution, consulting activities, and circular and bio-based materials workshop. So Materiali operates with a design-oriented approach and with the attention to the issues of the circular economy, circular design, and intelligent innovation, thanks to a broad background of international project and experience. And we always apply different methodologies and processes like design thinking, materials-driven design, and so on. So today we present a series of workshops called Viva Material Lab, and a series of workshops organized by Materials thanks to the collaboration with the Italian association called BAM Association that's based on the Milan area. So our challenge for this series of workshops was why bio-based materials? Because many people, especially outside the design architectural world, still see bio-based material as experimental or not durable enough materials, not really nice with the very cool aesthetics and so on. Our goal was to change this perception by allowing participants, in case of this workshop, to experience these materials firsthand. And to do that, we wanted to engage, we divided this workshop in the other two workshops, one for young people and the other one for adults, but we used the same design process. And we tried to engage the people, these two different kind of people, with some tangible and interactive activities, thanks to the design thinking approach. So we usually use this double diamond diagram that you can see here, divided in 4 phases in the normal hour design process with designer, architecture, and so on. But we apply the design thinking method in this case, start from this structure. Okay, so we adapt our approach to follow the stage of design thinking. And we placing particular emphasis on the empathy, experimentation, and iteration. So the design thinking, is a methodology, problem-solving methodology. And that's work in 5 phases that I try to explain how we can apply these phases in our workshop. The first phase called emphasize, we can also call discover. We have to understand, in our case, the materials, the properties of materials, and to know more about these bio-based materials. The second phase is to define, so define some specific needs, the problem that you want to solve. The third phase is about the ideation phase. So we have to generate, thanks to the design thinking approach, some creative solution. After that, there is the prototype mock-ups phase. So we can experimental, we saw before, thanks to the Zeynep presentation, to do the prototypes, the make-ups. And thanks to the design thinking approach, we can also test. This is the 5 stage, so we can test what's happened during the previous stages. I want to tell you something before, maybe one moment only about bio-based materials, because maybe for someone could be a new word, but it's really simple. Bio-based, by definition, is a bio, so from natural, biosources, bioresources, could be anything from natural, plant-based, but also the leather from the animal, so any kind of natural material in some way, biosources. Okay, so in the first of all, for the first phase, emphasize the discover phase, we set up 4 tables, each displaying a variety of materials with different textures, size, color, and of course also different smell. An important detail that you can see here in this photo that we tried to select a lot of companies because we selected only the materials available on the market. And it was important for us because we are working with the materials, bio-based materials, so sometimes very incredible materials, but available on the market. And an important detail about this workshop that we organized the workshops also thanks to the participation of collaboration with the other several companies that provide us samples of materials. And so I want to show you only a couple of companies like Mogu. You can see here one interesting image for me because Mogu products are among the first commercially available, and their material is made by from mycelium. Okay, you can see here better that is from mushroom, from the mycelium. Mogu produce mycelium-based acoustic panels, also flooring, flexible flooring, and a lot of decorative surface that you can see in this photo. So one company, it was Mogu, and the other company is another Italian company in the north of Italy called Organoid. You can see here in these photos that you can see the composition of the material, so they're flowers. So it's a biocomposite material made from plant fibers and the other natural components. So you can see here the materials in the first photos, and the second photo you can see the application. Okay, we use a lot of company, but today I wanted only to show you 2 of them. So during the first phase, do you remember it was the emphasis we have to discover the materials. So we leave the participant the freedom to touch and to do this really sensorial experience, to touch and describe the texture, if it's smooth, soft or rigid, and so on. And in the meantime, also the visualization, the aesthetical characteristic, but also the smell. Because, for example, you can see here the samples from Mogu is from mycelium, so you can maybe to smell different way. Maybe there is some natural, chemical, different smell. You can see here the adult workshop, and the meantime the young people, and they touch, they really touch and try to experimental with this material to discover more. So after the initial exploration with a lot of freedom, we provide them some information about the company, the name of the company, about the material, explaining their properties and the origins. And we selected bio-based. I told you that they're already on the market, so it was easy to show them also the application and also the characteristic for durability, sustainability, recyclability, and so on, to know more about the materials and the company. After that, because we wanted to ask to the participant to think about the application of these new bio-based materials. So we decided to create a specific tools based on a materials-driven design method. You can see here some photos during the workshop. And I want to explain in a very short way, because maybe for someone could be new, this method is a materials-driven design method, is an approach that places materials at the center of the design processes. So encouraging designer to explore their properties, behaviors, and the potential application, of course, to develop a new solution. So you can see here the different phases. Of course, normally this method is for use by designer, architects, and so on. So in this case, we decided to adapt some tools and we decided to create some specific tools to help the participant to analyze their materials, but in a really easy way. So we try to simplify and to modify the materials design method to help the common people with a different background to try to engage them and to analyze the materials and the characteristic. So after that, the first phase in this workshop, I think it was the longer phase because, of course, normally we work with the maybe designer and people, they have the background, they know more about the bio-based material. But in this case, we wanted to share a lot of information with the common people with a different background. So after the sensory experience, after the tools, we decided also to present various case studies showcasing real-world application of this material solution. Some are already available, of course, on the market, to help the participant also to create an envision and to see their potential use. We show them not only the materials, but also the application. After that, we are in the second phase. So we have to define the needs and what they want to solve. So as a facilitator, we try to help them to think about the everyday problem or something that they want to change in their life, also about some products, if we want to solve some needs, and we discuss with them. And after that, we go on into the third phase about the develop phase. What does it mean? In this phase, you can see here in the photo, we organize the brainstorming section. Of course, our role it was to facilitate this brainstorming section, and it was really interesting in this case because you can see in the photos that the participants were from different backgrounds, some students from design background, but also a lot of artists, common people, people with the other job. So because it was Sunday afternoon, so it was really nice to see their brainstorming, and they really open a lot of potential for these bio-based materials. And after this phase, we started with another, maybe also in this case, longer phase, the prototype phase, because after the first ideation phase, so they started to do the brainstorming, they did some sketches and to try to visualize their project. We provide them some simple tools and the materials that you saw before to create the prototypes, the mock-ups. For example, I want to show you before the sample from the young people. So in the first photos, you can see they developed the city of the future thanks to the Moog company. And in the second one, they use maybe the sketches more common. They design the furniture, and they use the plasticine. So they use different kind of materials that they provide them. And you can see here also the adults, they work in two directions. For someone, it was more simple to develop the structure in 3D. For the other people, it was more simple to create sketches and after that to apply the materials in 2D. So they really explore and develop also the critical thinking about this project and the application of these new bio-based materials. After that, we organized the feedback section in two phases. The first one, it was the peer review section. So we asked to the other participant to give the other participant the feedback, to present first of all their idea, and after that to receive the feedback from the other participant. And after that, of course, as a facilitator, we give them the feedback and to help them maybe to develop the idea and to share with the participant some more information about the materials, the properties, to help them maybe if they want to know more to develop a bit the feedback, the prototype section. So at the end, we walked the participant through the entire journey that they had taken with us, highlighting each steps. Of course, we encouraged them to further explore these materials and their potential application, not necessarily to use them in their own project, because of course, as they're not designer, but to raise awareness and inspire a shift in the mindset. The goal was, and in general is, for this kind of workshop for us, to provide them, the people, more knowledge about the sustainability, but also the application of this, for us, sometimes incredible and with a big potential materials. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniela. But also for
I did
your
very
challenge,
fast.
I believe that it could be done in schools, right? With younger participants, because those participants were not experts, but they were just the community, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because of course, Material used to do this workshop with some expert,
Yeah,
but in this case, we
yeah,
decided
of
to
course.
change with
But this
tools.
case, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, to open to everyone, young people without any knowledge, but also adults without any
Uh-huh.
knowledge or with different background, only to share, because sometimes we know that it's a very specific sector. So our mission in this case is also to open to everyone this knowledge, and maybe to open mind about the application of these bio-based materials.
Yeah, right, yeah. Very nice work. Thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah. Okay, and now we move to Netherlands with the presentation on protecting the heritage of recent interiors. So Bob will share his experience with us.
I'm trying to share my screen now.
Yeah.
Share screen. This works? Very good.
Yes, and also tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, I will. My name is Bob Crezee. Thank you, Blanca. I am the owner of a very small organization in the Netherlands, and we focus on European projects, cultural heritage, and education. Today, I would like to dive into a topic that's close to my heart and to the heart of my colleagues, and it's about preserving the interiors of Europe's 70s and 80s homes. And it's a fascinating blend of design, history, and community. So I would like to explore with you why these spaces matter and how we keep their stories alive using design thinking. Yeah, right. So this is where I live. It's in Haarlem. It's not far away from Amsterdam. And yes, I know it looks very cute. It's small, but it's big enough for me. It's in the middle of the old quarter of Haarlem, but very quiet, apart sometimes from the tourists walking by. The little houses in this alley are originally built in the 18th century, but they were renovated in the 70s of the last century. All houses are municipal monuments, so that means that I can't change the outside, not the windows, not the roof, not the colors of the paint, etc. But first, here's a quick look at what I would like to cover today with you. I'll start with my personal story, something that got me thinking differently about how we treat older homes. Then we talk about the Revintage project, why we think the 70s and the 80s are worth saving, and how we're involving communities, especially young people, in this work using design thinking. Yes, that is my personal story. Well, it's about my neighbor, Michael. Michael bought this charming house next to me 3 years ago. It was not only old, but it was also in a very bad state. So it was his idea to renovate it. But his contractor, a very nice guy, that I offered coffee every day, if only to get rid of the loud noises for a couple of minutes. Anyway, he was skilled, but not exactly trained in preserving old materials. He ended up replacing everything instead of fixing it. So there went the old floor, the old kitchen, the old windows with single glass, the roofs with the wooden beams, all in the container. The contractor said that he was sorry, but this was much easier, and by the way, he never learned on school how to preserve recent interiors. It got me thinking about how often this happens. We lose these pieces of history not because people don't care, but because they don't know how to preserve them. That's where the Erasmus project came in. I was in touch with some vet schools, vocational educational training for young people 15 to 20, vet schools on craftsmanship and other partners. And we focused on interiors from the 70s and 80s because they are disappearing fast. And while they might not seem historic yet, they tell an important story about post-war lives in Europe. Our challenge was to find creative ways to preserve these spaces before they are gone by offering knowledges and skills to students at vet schools. We all know these kind of interiors, well, especially when you're living in the Netherlands. This is for me a real 60s interior. Reed mat on the floor, very handy, but what a lot of dust came under it. A bookcase made of concrete blocks, ceramic lamps, a small TV in the mantelpiece, and everything is brown, orange, or yellow. So what is Revintage? The project Revintage we started some years ago was all about understanding and valuing the post-war interiors of Europe, especially from the 70s and 80s. We were researching, documenting, and sharing examples from different regions. And of course, we were also engaging young learners through heritage education because they're the ones who will carry this forward. There were few big challenges. A lot of these interiors were being renovated out of existence because they were seen as outdated. People didn't realize they have a cultural value. Plus, it was hard to get young people interested in preserving them. So we were working on ways to make these spaces feel relevant again. And as always, you get the best ideas when you're in the kitchen, even if it's a kitchen from the 60s. That idea was to use design thinking as a methodology to engage communities and to reach our goals. Why use design thinking? We turned to design thinking because it puts people at the center. It's flexible, creative process that helped us understand the needs of homeowners, communities, and young people. And it encouraged collaboration, which is key to making preservation both sustainable and meaningful. The first step is empathy. We listen to people, homeowners, architects, young folks, school teachers, and we try to understand their motivations. What do they feel about those interiors and why is preserving a problem? This helped us to find the emotional connection that's so important in preservation. For example, I visited a beautiful training course in the east of the Netherlands. Here they were hammering, sawing, assembling, and that was often done with old materials from buildings that had been demolished. I was enthusiastic, but also noticed little knowledge of the heritage value of those interiors. Reuse is not the same as preservation. And the teachers told me that they were indeed not very concerned with that. They needed a component in their training on valuation and restoration. Next, we moved in the define phase, where we distilled our insights into a clear and focused challenge. We asked ourselves, why are these meaningful interior spaces disappearing? What social, economic, and cultural forces are driving this change? Through our research, we identified key players who shape the future of these spaces, developers who make decisions about new constructions and renovations, educators who influence design thinking and cultural values, and homeowners whose choices directly impact how these interiors are preserved or valued. With these insights, we honed in on a central problem statement. How might we make these interiors relevant and meaningful in today's context? We realized it wasn't just about preserving the past. It was about reimagining these spaces so they continue to resonate with contemporary lifestyles, needs, and identities. This reframing became the guiding question that directed our next steps. This is where we brainstormed with our international Erasmus partners, in this case from Malta and Portugal. We came up with creative ideas like using vintage interiors with modern sustainability features, making them more future-proof. We also thought about how we could engage schools and communities to spread the message. And after thorough research and many conversations, we finally set up a description of the competencies that students of a program in this field should have if they were better qualified for the work we are talking about this afternoon. In the picture is only a small part of the description. The full tables with explanations can be found via the link that I will share with you at the end of my presentation. There you can also find a short course description. We envisioned creating a compact, dynamic teaching unit that would seamlessly fit within the VET training program, especially as part of the elective section, the choice section, you can say. The goal was to offer students something fresh and hands-on, and an opportunity to explore heritage preservation in a practical and creative way. It's not just theory, they'd be actively engaging with real interiors, learning traditional techniques, and even experimenting with modern twists. We want it to be a learning experience that sparks curiosity and gives them skills they can actually use, whether they go into restoration, design, or community projects. Next, the schools put ideas into action. They have done small-scale restoration projects where students learned hand-on skills like traditional woodwork. They have even developed digital archives and VR experience so students could explore these interiors in a modern digital way. After prototyping, we tested. We piloted some of these initiatives and got great feedback, especially from young people. Based on their input, we made adjustments and fine-tuned the programs so make them more engaging. One big takeaway: involve young people early. When they feel ownership, they get creative and stay committed. We also started hosting design sessions and building online platforms where they could share their restoration projects and ideas. We wanted young people not just involved, but leading. So the schools supported youth-led exhibitions and pop-ups that reinterpreted vintage interiors in fresh, innovative ways. It's about creating spaces where they feel inspired and valued. One of the biggest things we've discovered is that getting young people involved is crucial if we want these preservation efforts to last. When they're part of the process, they bring in fresh energy, new perspectives, and really creative ideas that we might not have thought of otherwise ourselves. It's also clear that collaboration across different sectors, like the vet schools, the local craftsmen, cultural organizations, and community groups, make a huge difference. And then there's the power of storytelling. Sharing what life was like in the 60s and 70s, how people lived in these homes, really helps make that history feel alive and relevant for people today. Our long-term goal is to share what we've learned through handbooks, toolkits, and course descriptions. We want to communicate everywhere. We want communities everywhere to have access to these resources and empower young people to take leadership roles in recent heritage prevention. As always, a project stops at a certain point, but the schools have continued, I recently heard. And we at Quiosq have used our experiences in the Up to European Bauhaus project that was referred to earlier. In particular, we have made the active contribution of the ideas and opinions of the young people themselves central, as you can see here in a living lab in Utrecht in the Netherlands. To wrap it up, preserving interior heritage isn't just about nostalgia. It's about cultural identity, community connection, and sustainability. By live and digital engaging young people, we can make sure this important work continues in the future. Finally, if you're curious and want to dive deeper, you can check out the complete Revintage report here. It's packed with insights and examples, cases from the project. Oh, and my neighbor Michael, he's doing fine. His house looks perfect, and despite the fact that not everything is original anymore, in fact, nothing is original anymore, he pays a lot of attention to preserving monumental parts in other houses next to us. That also applies to the contractor who once worked there. And furthermore, I have a very nice neighbor, and that's the most important thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the inspiration about how to preserve our heritage. This is, yeah, really important. And I like that you involved young people. I am wondering when you said that it's important to involve young people early in the process. So, what does it mean early? When exactly is that?
Well, we tried to involve them from the beginning in the project already, and we do this the same in. I don't see myself moving, but it's okay. We do this also in this new project, this up to new European Bauhaus. It was in fact the first thing we did was organizing living labs
Yeah.
with young people, and this made me very motivated to continue with the project because there's always a little bit doubt. You invent things or whatever, and if it's really working. And then we saw that young people, we saw it in all the countries of our project partners, were really very much enthusiastic to talk about it and to learn about it. So yeah, it proves that it's working. And we often
Yeah, and
see
they actually
we often
dive.
see yeah, we often see young people like well, they don't want to learn and they just wait. But that's well, for these kind of subjects, not at all the case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they dive into everything, not that they just brainstorm about ideas, but they actually go into details and research and yeah, think why actually it's important. Yeah,
Yeah,
great job,
yeah.
really. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Okay, and now we have the last presentation. Milena, welcome. Yeah, where she's. Yeah, welcome,
Hello.
Milena. So, the title of your presentation is Creating Safer School Environments with a Design Thinking Approach. Yep. So, first, I would like to invite you to tell a sentence or two about yourself, and then you can share your presentation.
I was I would ask for just a little bit of patience because my internet is very poor today. There is a stormy weather outside, and that's why that's actually the reason why I'm late to this meeting because I had some problems with the internet, and I'm trying to settle everything here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm so sorry that it's such a
Yeah, yeah,
storm. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I hope everything will work.
yeah. I
Yeah.
hope so.
So are you looking how to share the screen?
Yeah, no, at this point, I'm trying to open my file because there's
Aha, okay.
no internet. That's the case here. I'm trying to open the file.
Yeah. Okay, then please open the file, but I will, in the meanwhile, share the Mentimeter again, so that we will see the results that teachers are giving today. I think the teachers, the participants of our conference, are very busy. That's why there are no questions, because there are how many responses? Here we have 80 responses on I understand design thinking as, so like creativity, innovation, etc. How confident do you feel in implementing design thinking? We can check if the results change somehow. Yes, a little bit. I think they are a little bit higher now, but still, it's evident from the results that yeah, design thinking methodology is still not so well known among teachers, and I hope that today's conference will inspire you to create different challenges with your students and use design thinking methodology in order to explore them. Here, yes, how relevant is each step in design thinking for the learning process? User research and defining a problem, definitely the most relevant, you are saying. And how do you use design thinking maybe in a different way? So here there are some more answers. For instance, I use the design thinking method for a project to create an outdoor classroom. One interesting idea. Here is one: my students brainstorm, get feedback, and improve their knowledge. That's one way of using. And one more on outdoor learning, and I redesign a history lesson by turning it into an interactive role-playing activity where students experience history instead of just memorizing facts. So here is here we have the whole bunch of ideas how can we implement design thinking in schools as well. So Milena, ready? And the microphone.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Excellent. In this case, we can actually start. So, sorry I'm late. My name is Milena Ignjatova, and today I will walk you through how SmartUP team applied the design thinking methodology to empower students to create meaningful activities for their peers as part of promoting safe school environment. I will try to explore with you how this process works, what students created, and how it drives the real impact. So, but first, a few words about SmartUP. I didn't have the chance to introduce myself because I was late. SmartUP is a non-governmental organization that sees problems as opportunities for a change. We strongly believe that individuals and communities are the true drivers of sustainable development. For more than a decade, we've been dedicated to tackling challenges and fostering educational innovation to support educators in our country. We believe that educators are the key drivers of change when it comes to addressing everyday challenges in schools. And our goal is, of course, to provide a supportive environment that empowers educators to shape, guide, and inspire future generations. So, since students are the final beneficiaries, we choose to empower not only educators, but also students, encouraging them to rethink, redesign, and reshape their school environment based on their own needs and experiences. So, first, because of the generational gap, educators may not always fully understand students' needs. That's why we involve students directly in school teams consisted of educators and students, giving them the lead, in this case, not the teachers, but the students, in identifying challenges and developing solutions, while educators took the role of facilitators. By applying the core principles of the design thinking methodology, we not only position students at the center of the process, but also equip them with essential skills and competencies that will shape their future design thinking decision making. In short, we believe that this approach is an ideal way to empower students. both now and in the future. It fosters critical thinking, encourages creativity and sense of ownership, all while contributing to a safer and more inclusive school environment for everyone. The design thinking model consists of several key stages. Actually, this is gathering data, understanding the challenge. Here is the brainstorming part, and developing creative and innovative solutions. Importantly, it also includes the opportunity to test those solutions in real context. And if a solution provides proves effective, it can be implemented. But if it doesn't work or stops working over time, the process allows you to go back, revisit earlier steps, and refine or completely redesign the solution. It is a flexible approach that encourages continuous improvement. Empathy is actually the starting point of the entire process. Students begin by exploring the experiences, feelings, and needs of their peers. They talk, they listen, they observe, they gather meaningful insights through an open and inclusive approach. The opportunity actually to helping the one who is collecting the evidence and collecting the data to have a well-rounded understanding of the situation. This allows them to identify not just their individual concerns, but common issues that affects the wider student community. The next students actually define specific challenges to focus on. So starting with the broad or general issue that can lead to confusion and ineffective solutions, is the same challenge may have different cases and causes. By narrowing down, students can better tailor their approach and create solutions that truly address the roots of the challenge. So using the tree, you can see it here. That's the example of the tree that we are using it. Using the problem tree technique, students explore the issue by identifying its causes in the roots of the tree and its effects on the branches. Through discussions and analysis, they identified the most common root causes and impacts. And based on this analysis and discussions, they formulated a focused challenge in the form of "How might we?" question. Actually, it's a question that clearly addresses three key elements, like what needs to be done, for whom or with whom, and why. So the ideate phase, the next phase, is the most creative one, I must say. Actually, it's creative explosion. Students brainstorm as many ideas as possible, no judgments, no limits. It's about thinking big, thinking wild, and thinking together. They might suggest games, maybe peer mentorship programs, awareness with videos, or classroom campaigns. One fun technique that they used was the pencil. Actually, the pencil, what can we do with it? That's why we have the pencil here. That's an exercise that sparked imagination and playful thinking. It was an energizing, entertaining, and highly creative part of the process. The next phase is actually prototyping. This phase is bringing the idea to life. Now it's the time actually to bring their favorite ideas to life. So students develop a simple prototype of activity where it might be a poster, a plan, or a mock-up maybe. It can be anything actually, as long as it captures students' interest and offers some meaningful solution to the previously defined challenge. The goal is to turn their idea into activity concepts that can be shared, tested, and refined based on the real feedback. The final phase is testing, where students find out if their idea or activity actually works in the real life conditions. So in this phase, they put their ideas into action in real school setting. They observe how their peers respond, gather feedback, and think about what could be improved. This part builds resilience and shows them that improvement is part of innovation. And I think this is the most important part. I liked it the most. And actually, the whole process of design thinking model is a complex. This completes the full cycle of the design thinking model, but the process doesn't have to stop here. At any point, you can return to the beginning, especially when the idea or the activity becomes outdated or no longer resonates with students. And in my opinion, as I previously mentioned, it's the best part, having the opportunity to continuously recreate and innovate existing solutions. So, what about the results? Of course, the impact. The activities that we've created through this process are creative, relevant, and deeply rooted in empathy, of course. So far, we have collected like 50 students-led activities, and they have been published on www.edulab.mk. Although they are in Macedonian, you are all welcome to explore them. They are open source and available to students and educators across the country and, of course, in the world. And throughout this process, students felt empowered, heard, and confident in their ability to create changes. And schools gained meaningful peer-driven solutions that addresses real and present challenges in their environment. So what's next? We encourage all schools to continue using design thinking with their students. It's not just a tool. According to us, it's a mindset, one that builds critical thinkers, collaborators, and change makers. Our role is to continue supporting students as they imagine and shape the kind of schools they want to be part of. And I think that would be all. Thank you all for being part of this journey. I think that together we are not just sharing methods here, we're fostering a culture where students feel empowered to drive real and meaningful change. So if you have any questions or would like to continue, connect further, feel free to reach out me at the email address given below. Thank you once again.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your work. Can you remember maybe some of the prototypes that were really inspiring for you?
Yeah, actually, they made. I must say that the most interesting activities, like prototyping, they actually starting integrating in their school programs. So they are not in the in the in the stage of prototyping anymore,
Very
because
good. Yeah.
they all tested the activities, and the activities was actually they because the topics of the activities was about prevention of the violence. It was also the activities were on the topic of children's rights and students' participation in schools. So the most challenging, the most important for me and most interesting that I've heard are actually the energizers. So they figured out that if they enter some kind of energizers at the beginning of each class on Monday morning, like 5 minutes energizers with all students given by the student council representatives, they actually talked about bullying and how to prevent violence in school.
Wow. So the whole school was engaged then?
Actually, 25 schools. For this activity, one school.
No, for this activity, the whole school. So not only one classroom, but actually as a school, they decided they will do Monday energizers. in
Yeah,
order
yeah.
to probably to make more connections, and that's then to prevent the violence.
Actually, in that case, they included two topics. The first topic was prevention of the violence, and the second topic was engaging the student council when they actually give their ideas into action and give the students, empowered students, give taking the making decisions about how they should be they should be acting during the school hours.
Wow, great. Thank you. Such a beautiful message for the end of the conference. So, yeah, there is a hope in our young generations. Thank you, Milena. Thank you to all our participants for your interest, for your wonder, and also for your patience, because today you had to fill in two surveys, right? One in the mentimeter, and now we ask you to evaluate the conference as always. So thank you very much. We will be back in the 24th of April with a new edition. In the meanwhile, happy teaching to all of you. Thank you very much. Goodbye.